Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Rebecca here. JTBFFs. How's everybody doing today? Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Had one of those mornings. Nice to see you. I'm going to wait a few minutes and see if for other people to come on. If you're here, please put your name in the chat so that I know you're here. Let's see. I see a couple of people out there. I see a couple of friends. Today is the last book launch party we're going to do, at least for now. And super excited. The book, of course, everybody probably knows this by now. You've probably seen it at least 1,000 times. I feel like I've been sharing it all over the place because I'm just so damn proud of it. That's why we're here, stories from passionate James Taylor fans. And lots of the people that are on this page, on my Life with James Taylor page, their stories are in this book. So I'm just thrilled. And today I'm going to read a couple of them to you, and I'm going to invite a couple people on to read their stories and give away some more James Taylor prizes, which is always fun, and have some conversation. Let's see who's here. Paula Hoopman's here. Hey, Paula. Luann Newman and Shayna, Amy, Cynthia. Oh, cool. Lots of fun people here. Remember, if you're here, put your name in the chat and your email, unless you're a contributor. Then, of course, I have your email if you're a contributor to the book. Put your name in the chat, because if you win a prize, we need to email you to let you know we won the prize. So we gave away some really great prizes. Last week, I have to be honest with you guys. Last week, I had a super busy week, and I didn't mail the prizes out that I gave out last Sunday. So if you want a prize and you're like, where is it? It's coming. I'm going to do them all tomorrow, along with the winners from today. But last week, Marcia Risner won the JT 45. I've got a couple more here today of You Are My Only One. She won that last week. Mary Milliman won a baseball card, this James Taylor baseball card. I'm going to give another one of those. I'm going to give two more of those out today. From when James did the first pitch in May of 2015 for the Red Sox. Of course, the Red Sox. He's a big Red Sox fan, as we know. Let's see who else. Susan Callahan won a signed copy of my book. The JT mask. I don't have that here. I had a really kind of cute mask of James Taylor, and Allie Wall won that. The pullover t-shirt went to Karen Steele. That was cool. I have another t-shirt to give away today. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Today I'm going to give out this vintage t-shirt. This was from 2014. James Taylor and his all-star band. That one's going to a lucky winner today. What else? Let's see. Ooh, yeah. The Sweet Baby James poster went to Dan. Oh, I was so happy to see you won that, Dan. Dan is a contributor, and he had a great story in the book, and he won this. And I'm going to show it to you. This cool poster, which was from Sweet Baby James, and on the opposite side, it has all the lyrics to the songs from Sweet Baby James. And guess what? I have another one of these to give away today. So somebody else is going to get, don't put him upside down. Somebody else is going to get this one today. So that will be fun. And a couple of other things. Oh, the grand prize. Let's see. Let me make sure we all got. Oh, the Two-Lane Blacktop poster went to Linda. A poster from his Two-Lane Blacktop movie. Country Road 45 went to Noel Martin. And the grand prize last week was this hat. Not the one. Yeah, not the one that I'm wearing, but an exact replica of it. And that one went to Wendy Rossell. So super excited that Wendy won that hat. That's a tough thing to say. Wendy won. Because I know that she has a very good friend that is a huge James Taylor fan that had a birthday, and her friend is going through some difficult times right now, and Wendy is going to give her this hat for a birthday present. So I'm so happy when I hear stories like that. It just gives me the chills. And then the week before, Nancy Anderson won. I think she won a baseball card. Fran won a poster. I don't remember which poster it was, Fran, but it could have been the movie poster. Let's see. And a couple of other people won a few more 45s and copies of my book. So more prizes today. And my friend Shannon is here to pick prizes. And I have in my hat all of the contributors' names. So if you're a contributor, your name's already here. So that's great. You're definitely getting a prize. If you are here and you're not a contributor, like I said, put your name in the chat along with your email. So before we go any further, let's read a little bit, right? We're here to read, to share stories. I wanted to share with you that yesterday, was yesterday Friday? Day before yesterday, I was on a radio show in Newport, Rhode Island, which is my hometown. And it's a local radio show, and she interviewed me and a friend of mine named Kim Fuller. I have a lot of Kim friends. Kim Lifton is on today. She's going to share her story. Anyway, me and a friend of mine, Kim Fuller, and Kim has, she started this movement, this women's storytelling movement called Born to Rise. And you can look that up on the website. It's called borntorise.live, Live. And she started this a couple of years ago. And it's basically a women's storytelling event, not just for women, but primarily women or those who identify as women. And the very first storytelling event she had was at a small restaurant in Newport, Rhode Island called Salvation Cafe. And she invited me to be one of her first storytellers. And that's when I was working on the book. I hadn't published it yet. I hadn't finished it yet, but I was working on it. And I shared my story, how James Taylor came into my life and how he had such a profound effect on my life. And I shared that story aloud. It's in the book. It's the very first chapter called My Story. And I shared that aloud. And one of the women, this was 2.5 years ago, and one of the women in the audience came up to me later and said, I have a radio show. Your story really touched me. When you finish the book, contact me and I'll have you on. So of course, when I finished the book, I kept her name and I contacted her, and I was on yesterday and was able to share my story along with Kim. And Kim's movement, the Born to Rise movement, is all about how sharing stories is so healing, and how sharing stories with each other just gives us that feeling of connection, and like we don't feel that we're alone in the world, especially now, the last 18 months that we've all been living in, kind of isolation, really. I mean, it's getting better, but it's been rough. And don't you love James's songs of comfort that he's been doing throughout the last 18 months? It's been just so, so comforting. And so anyway, I was able to share that story, and I'm not going to read the story to you today because it's long and it's detailed. Well, it's not that long. It's like 4 pages, but I'm not going to read the whole story, but I will tell you about it because I think that a lot of the people that are here and a lot of people that share their stories connect with the same sentiment, I want to say. And the story goes like this, just a brief adaptation of it. When I was a teenager, about 13, going through a really, really difficult time in my life. My parents were getting a divorce. My mom was always a stay-at-home mom, very traditional Greek family, and suddenly she was working 2 jobs, waitressing, bartending to make ends meet. My father had left. We had to move from this, 5-bedroom home in the suburbs, cul-de-sac kind of thing, to a 2-bedroom apartment. And it was me and 3 siblings. There were four of us with my mom. And because it was the first time in ever, really, that she was experiencing freedom, it was the early 70s. You guys know how this goes, right? We, the 4 of us, were left alone much of the time. We were left to fend for ourselves much of the time. We had a roof over our head, we had food in the refrigerator, but we were on the streets a lot of the times doing things that today, as a mom, I would never allow my kids to do. And one of the things, and I got involved in some bad stuff. I got involved with a very dangerous man who claimed to be a guitar teacher, and he was not. And he would bring these, latchkey kids in like myself, and it wasn't a good thing. He was a leader in a cult called Adidam, and there was lots of dangerous things going on. And I was really held to a secret. I was told that I wasn't allowed to tell anybody what was happening as I would go to my weekly lessons. And there was sex and drugs and abuse. And anyway, the story's in the book, but I don't want to go into too much detail. But one day in my music class, the music teacher came in and she told everybody, I want to introduce you to a singer-songwriter that I really love, and I want to play a song for you. And I loved the music class. So I was listening, and she put on Fire and Rain. And on the record player, again, early 70s, the record player. And she just put the needle down, and all of a sudden I hear the guitar intro, that beautiful intro that I know you guys all know from Fire and Rain. And that voice, that, velvety baritone, amazing voice, that guy. And I was just like, who is that? And as I listened to the words, I just started crying and bawling my eyes out, because something just in that song just broke my brain. That's the only way I can describe it. It just broke my brain. And I felt everything he was writing about. I felt the same feelings of loneliness, abandonment, just fear. I felt all of it the same way that he was writing about in Fire and Rain. And besides just crying, and I left the room, I also felt hope. I also felt like, oh my God, I'm not the only one that has these feelings. And I felt like he got me, and I connected with him through a record. I know you guys get this. Sometimes when I tell this story, people look at me with cross-eyed, but you guys get this. I know you do, because so many people have written a similar feeling when they heard a particular song of James, and they heard a song and something sparked in them. Anyway, long story short, I went and got the album, listened to every single song on that album, Sweet Baby James. You guys know Fire and Rain, Blossom, all that great stuff. And he became my therapist and my guide. And because of that, I was able to open my journal and write down every single thing that was going on in my life that I wasn't supposed to talk about. And I wrote it in my journal. And I left my journal open that night for my mom, hopefully, to read, because she was coming home at 2:00 in the morning from her bartending job. And I needed somebody to hear what was happening. So I left the journal open, and she read it. And the next day, again, I was able to get the help that I needed, and get through that terrible time in my life. So I credit James Taylor for that. I credit him for that. Had it not been hearing those words, hearing that song, hearing somebody express the feelings that I was having, I would not have been able to write about it. I would not have been able to open up about it. And who knows, my life would not have been as rich as it is today. And from that point on, every time another difficult thing happened to me, or a joyous thing, I would put on the new James Taylor album came out, and I would hear a song and I would go, oh, thank you, James. That one's for me. And again, I know you guys get this, because so many of your stories are in this book that are similar. So that's my story. I had to go on and on and on, but I did want to share it with you instead of reading it today. And I want to bring in a couple more contributors. But before I do, I'm going to give a couple of prizes away. First thing, I'm going to give away a book to one of the, where's my hat? Here it is. To one of the contributors. And a lot of you are on today. That's awesome. I'm going to give away a signed copy of my book to somebody that I picked the name out of the hat. And then hang on, Shannon, my friend Shannon is here. Shannon is also, I'm going to bring her in. Hang on, Shannon. Hi, Shannon. Shannon's going to also pick a name out. Now, Shannon is putting names in her hat. You have your hat, right, Shannon?
I do.
Yes. There's her hat. Oh, I love that floppy hat. She's so 70s. She's going to put names from the people that are here today in her hat. So I'm going to pick a name from my hat, which are all the contributors. And Shannon's going to pick a name from her hat, which is everybody that's here today. So if you're a contributor and you're here today, guess what? You're double dipping, but that's okay. That's all good. So today's first prize for the book, signed copy of the book, goes to Steve I don't even know how to pronounce your name, and I've met him so many times, and I love this guy. Steve Alexu. Sorry, Steve, I'm badgering your name. I see Steve all the time at Tanglewood concerts. I love Steve. He's got a great story in the book about Livingston Taylor and when he met James back in the day. So excited about that. Thanks, Steve. I hope you're here. You get a signed copy of my book. So awesome. So Shannon, let's see. I'm going to give away next. Let's give away the baseball card. That's so fun. This is a baseball card from 2015 from Fenway when James did the first pitch. Shannon, who gets the baseball card?
All right, drum roll, please. The baseball card goes to Michael McCool.
Michael McCool. Michael, awesome. Yay, Michael. If you're here, you are here because otherwise your name wouldn't be there. Put your email in there so we can email you and give you the baseball card. And let's do one more because this is just so much fun and we have a lot of them. Oh my gosh, here, this is a good one. This is a 45. Love this. So people are like, why are you giving 45s away? Who can play 45s? Actually, somebody didn't even know. Somebody wrote to me and said, what's a 45? I'm like, oh, you're too young. Jennifer Parr. I love Jennifer. She's a huge James Taylor fan. She might even be on today, but she's young and she didn't know what a 45 was. You guys know what a 45 is. Remember, you'd put that little adapter on the record player and put the 45 on. But the 45s are great when you go to concerts. I have lots of them signed because it's a small thing to put in your purse. And, you know, when the COVID crap is done, we'll get back to the thing where James comes out at intermission and afterwards and takes pictures and signs. So that's why these 45s are fun to get them signed. And this one is Bartender's Blues, which I've heard him sing live. I love how he sings that song live. And on the flip side is Handyman, another cool one. Oh, Shayna, this would be great if you won this because I think your story was about Handyman, if I don't remember. Anyway, Shannon, pick out a winner for this 45.
Okay. The next winner is Mark Haffenden.
Mark Haffenden. Oh, Mark, he's a contributor. No, he's not a contributor to the book. I'm confusing with another Mark, but Mark is here. Yay, Mark. And make sure we have your email, Mark. You won this 45 of Bartender's Blues and Handyman. Oh, that's why I was remembering Handyman because Buddy Holly, it was the anniversary of his death a few days ago. And we talked about Handyman. Oh, today, the grand prize, by the way, the last prize, if you hang around, the last prize is this hat, which is from the Troubadour Reunion Tour of Carole King and James Taylor. So this is going to be the last prize we give away. Thanks, Shannon. I'll bring you in a few more minutes because right now we are going to share. I have a few friends on. Kim Lifton is on and Brandy is on. And I'm going to bring them both on here. Hang on one second. There's Kim and there's Brandy. Cool.
Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Brandy.
Hi.
Hi, this is awesome. So this is fun because Brandy, this is our first time I've seen you video, Brandy. We've chatted lots of times. And actually the first time I met Brandy face to face was Chicago, right, Brandy?
Yep.
Opening night of
July.
In July. Yeah. And Brandy and I were texting because I always text with whoever's there. And she's like, I'm here. And so I made my way up and we found each other. And she was up there, I was down there, and we had this really awkward picture of us.
We have a great awkward picture. We're holding hands and smiling.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, and Kim I've known for a few years now. Kim I met from this page, from the James Taylor Life with James Taylor page, and she's going to share her story. Both Brandy and Kim have stories in the book. And I thought it would be fun to hear, from the horse's mouth, as they say. So who wants to go first, Brandy or Kim?
I'll go.
Yay, Brandy. Okay, so Brandy's going to read her story. And Brandy, what's the song that it was from?
Oh gosh, How Sweet It Is.
How Sweet It Is.
It's page 61.
Okay, so the book, for those of you who don't know, is organized by song title. So I asked all of the contributors, what's the song that got to you? Or what's the song that that means a lot to you, that you want to write about? And so Brandy chose How Sweet It Is. So Brandy, I'm going to mute me and Kim. Well, I guess I can't mute you, Kim, but I can mute myself.
I can mute myself, right?
Great. So Brandy's going to share her story. Take it over, Brandy.
So I just wanted to preface that when I read it in the book, I was like, wow, I probably could have spent a little more time writing it. I wrote it so fast and just sent it. And also I could probably have written.
Yikes. Are you guys getting some feedback here? I'm not able to. Yeah. Brandy, your connection is kind of going off a little bit.
Brandy's gone.
Brandy's gone. Oh, no.
Should we just sing her song?
We can. How sweet it is to be loved by. Oh, you're gone. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to come, in and out. I'm going to ask you, Brandy, to come back in. I'm going to remove you, and then I'm going to ask you to come back in. In the meantime, it's all good because Kim
It's
lives
all
in this.
Kim.
It's all Kim all now. Kim, just give us a recap first of all. Just tell the audience how crazy you
Okay, here's
are.
the deal. I'm going to give you the deal. So I already have so many presents from Rebecca. See, I have a bookmark with the secret of life. You've got a friend. For my 60th birthday, I have this gorgeous, if you can see it, it's a bookmark, silver. I think it's silver, says James Taylor. And on the back, the secret of life is enjoying the passage of time, which I guess I could have written a story about that, but
Couldn't we
I
all,
didn't
right?
actually meet Rebecca on her fan page. Rebecca stalked me a little bit on Facebook somehow. And I had gone to a show in Toledo and she saw it, my pictures, and she asked, I got this private Facebook note from some strange woman asking me if she could post it on her page. So then I looked at her page. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people here. I should be in a James Taylor fan group. So when Rebecca asked me, so fast forward to the book, when she asked me to, she told me about the book. She tried to get me to write it with her. I'm like, this is your story. You do it. I'm so proud of you. And I said, I don't know what story to write. I have a hundred James Taylor stories. So in honor of Rebecca and this amazing friendship that we've developed over the years, my story is about our friendship. So the title is Today, Today, Today. I got muted.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Me and I
So
think I muted you. So you just said the title is Today, Today, Today. So
today,
pick it up.
I actually thought it was going to be You've Got a Friend, and then it was Today, 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 and it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't care what song you pick for me because I don't think I've ever heard a James Taylor song I didn't like. So I'm just going to read a little bit of my story because it's long. Okay. Today, Today, Today. I'd been divorced for a year and I was ready for an adventure. So when Rebecca Gold, a James Taylor fan I met on Facebook, invited me to see a concert with her, I said yes. She invited me to her home in Providence. We were going to go see James Taylor and Jackson Browne at Fenway Park in Boston. She first reached out to me in May of 2016, a day after I posted photos online from the concert in Toledo. Hi, Kim. I love your posts and pictures from the James Taylor concert last night, she wrote, and that's how she talks. Can I share them on my JT Facebook page, Life with James Taylor? Of course, I replied immediately. And I know you guys feel this too. I could feel myself being pulled toward Rebecca. It was as if I knew her, but I did not beyond social media. We were both writers, journalists. We were born a week apart in 1961 and shared the Cancer astrology sign. And we'd both been to 60 or more James Taylor concerts, which I have no idea the number. I guess that. I was intrigued. For the next few weeks, logging onto Facebook and looking for a message from Rebecca became a highlight. She was working on this book. I could relate. She said he saved her life during some major challenges when she was a teen. Me too. It didn't take long for the concert invite. She was going to see 3 JT concerts over the summer, one in Chicago, Boston, Tanglewood. You're crazier than I am, I wrote. After we made plans to see the Boston show, I briefly wondered if my new friend might be cuckoo, or even worse, a stalker.
Yeah.
But somehow I knew that Rebecca was just a middle-aged woman who, like me, shared a genuine love for James Taylor, our boyfriend. I just added that. A concert with another super fan had to be more fun than my post-divorce life, which wasn't what I had expected after ending an 18-year marriage to a man who had cheated on me. James Taylor had never disappointed me. A few days after my husband moved out, I went to a concert in July of 2014, where I listened intently to the words of each song, searching for strength to get through this divorce. The first song was new. Today, Today, Today. I thought he'd written it for me.
See that?
Yeah, everyone says that. Later that night, as James began You've Got a Friend, I started fussing with my wedding band, holding it, twisting it, staring at it. I was afraid to take it off because my daughter was out of town and didn't know her dad had moved out. I wanted to tell her before doing anything, but he's saying about people hurting you and deserting you. I placed my index finger and thumb on that ring and slipped it off effortlessly. I sighed. I listened to James' music nonstop for months during the divorce process. I didn't do anything too wild, though I had a few memorable encounters, like downing half a bottle of 21-year-old single malt scotch that was gifted to my friend for his birthday. Sorry. Hosting parties for a bunch of married moms who came to my place after work to drink, eat their marijuana-infused edibles, and watch The Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce. The house I shared with my 16-year-old daughter became a temporary sorority house for middle-aged moms. I don't live there anymore.
Thank goodness.
Sorry. I was excited to catch a JT concert at Fenway Park with Rebecca. We continued chatting for months, talked a lot, phone, text, Facebook, email about James, my ex, our kids, our moms, her husband, about the blind date with a guy named Steve, who is now my boyfriend, still is. Rebecca told me James saved her life. A lot, you told me that. I told her my connection began in 1978 when I too was in high school. My best friend, whose name was Jim, introduced me to JT's music. Jim was editor-in-chief of our school newspaper. I was the features editor. I nicknamed him Sweet Baby James. Once, he bought me a dozen individually wrapped red roses from the student council on Valentine's Day. He also left 2 unwrapped books of sheet music on my desk inside the school's journalism classroom. One was JT's 8th album, which had been released the previous spring, and the other was Sweet Baby James. We played the music in our newsroom while we pieced together the newspaper on light tables and edited with X-Acto knives. The young people won't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I can still see Jim standing in the middle of the classroom, jamming on an air guitar to Steamroller Blues. After school, my twin sister Hope and I would squeeze into Jim's maroon 2-seater Triumph Spitfire and drive around town with the top down, playing Sweet Baby James and other tunes so loudly that the cars on the road could hear us through their closed windows. I fell madly in love with James Taylor, but not with Jim. God, I hope you're not here today. And I think I'm going to stop right there because
Yes, they can read the rest of the story on their own.
On your own.
It gets better. Thank you so much, Kim. I love
it. Anyway. Yeah, so our story is great. And I just want I want to add something. So the concert Rebecca talked about in Detroit was our 60th birthday gifts to ourselves. And she came to Detroit and went with me and our friend Craig, who's also in the book.
Craig is on here too, I think. I saw his name.
Hi, Craig.
Yeah,
So
hey,
Craig came to Detroit, and it was like the post-COVID James Taylor highlight of my life. I was so excited. It was like a first date. My friends were coming here, and I wish all of you had been here to go to the show with us. Yes, so thank you. Thank you for inviting me to write. Thank you for being my friend. And you've got a friend, Rebecca.
Love that. Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you.
Oh, and look.
Oh, there's her little cup. I've got the same cup. Yep.
We bought them together.
Of course, we bought them together. Yes. So many of the stories end up being like that, where we meet each other. And like I was talking about when I first started this connection, and she knew that, okay, I'm this huge James Taylor fan. I'm a middle-aged woman. And she knew that there was a safety about it because we were both so connected through James's songs and through, and we have developed a really great friendship because of that. And also with our friend Craig, who is on here, and his story is in the book. And I never knew Craig before. I just started seeing him at Tanglewood, and we were connected that way. Brandy's back, so I'm going to ask Brandy to share her story. But we're going to give one more present before we go much further. I'm going to bring Shannon back in. So You've Got a Friend. Actually, a couple of people put stories in from You've Got a Friend. I mean, that song is just so classic, right? We love Carole King. We love You've Got a Friend. It's so relevant, and it just will never, ever lose its steam. So there's a few people that actually wrote stories about You've Got a Friend. I'm going to be most likely doing another edition of this, guys, because I have a lot of people who wrote to me afterwards and said, oh, my story. So if you've got a great story, whether it's about something that happened in your life or that James helped you through, many of the stories are like that, or whether it's just about a concert that just meant so much to you, send them to me, Rebecca@lifewithjamestaylor.com. I love to hear them. Love it. Like, that's what I do in my pastimes. I just read these stories either on my Life with James Taylor page or ones that send to me or people send to me. And B, I might do another edition because it just was so fun. So send me your stories, Life with James Taylor. Okay, so Shannon's back. First, we're going to give away this. This is, oh, speaking of, James Taylor, My Life in Song. And this is from Parade Magazine not that long ago, Sunday, February 16th, 2020. But there's just, it's a great story, an interview of James, and it has a lot of great pictures in it. And again, this is the kind of thing where I could just totally see this in a frame, you know, in your office or whatever. So I want to give that away. Shannon, you want to pick a name out? Pick a lucky name?
I sure do. It is Dan Mendeville.
Dan. Yay, Dan. Dan, I believe, story is in this book. I think Dan's story. Yeah, of course it is. So awesome, Dan. You get that. And we're going to do one more. Let's do a good one. Let's do a big one. Oh, we were just talking about this. Okay, I'm going to do this one because Brandy said this was her song. How sweet it is to be loved by you. So who's going to get How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You? Shannon, go ahead. Pick another name.
All right. Thomas Riley Edwards.
Oh, Thomas. Yay. Thomas, I read your story last week. Oh, he has a beautiful story in the book. And Thomas, how sweet it is to be loved by you. Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. And Brandy's coming in. Let's try this again. Let's see. There she is.
I changed and went closer to the Wi-Fi. Maybe that helps. I have no idea.
Awesome.
I'm so sorry.
No problem. Kim just went quickly in and shared her story. So you missed Kim's story, but you can see it on the replay.
I saw a little bit of it, but
Great.
so are you ready?
We are ready.
Okay. In the early 1980s, when my junior high school choir really wanted to sing songs by Madonna or Prince or Michael Jackson, we were singing songs by the Beatles, The Fifth Dimension, and the song You've Got a Friend, written by Carole King and made famous by James Taylor. I'm thankful to our director, Mr. Stranley, for making us sing the songs that still occupy my brain to this day, nearly 40 years later. Soon after learning to sing You've Got a Friend, I made it my mission in life to find out as much as I could about James Taylor. I've spent the years since junior high collecting James Taylor songs and stories and learning tidbits about this man, his life, and his music. It doesn't seem much of a mystery to me as to why I carry James Taylor's music in my soul. I was born in March 1971, when many of his songs were born, or at least becoming popular. I am grateful to have been raised during such an amazing era of music. When I think about my childhood, I remember listening to Fire and Rain, Sweet Baby James, and Carolina in my mind, and more. JT songs were always on the radio all the time. The turntable, or blasting out of the cassette player in the Fiat convertible I drove in high school. I feel very blessed to have these songs as a part of my life in those everyday moments, and even when times were difficult or sad. If you were to ask my children about their childhood memories, they would tell you about James Taylor songs wafting up from the lake as their mama sat on the dock making jewelry in the summer sunshine. When my son was considering a song for the mother-son dance at his wedding, it was an easy choice. How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. My oldest daughter did her senior project using JT songs. My second daughter sings JT songs and plays them on the piano too. When my youngest child was in preschool, her teacher called me to say that during playtime they had the radio on, and Thea announced to her classmates that the song playing was How Sweet It Is by James Taylor. She was 4 years old. She was 4 years old.
Love it.
You made me very proud. In June of 2016, I brought that same girl who was 9 to her first concert, James Taylor, of course. We had floor seats about 20 rows from the stage. When it was close to intermission, I remembered that sometimes James would stay on stage and sign autographs, take pictures, and talk to fans. I took my child by her hand and off we went to the stage. At one point, there were so many people that I had to pick her up and carry her as we edged our way among the fans. And then suddenly, I was reaching my hand out to James. I held my daughter on my left hip and patted James on his bent knee with my right hand. He was sitting on stage talking to a baby being held by her mother. The only words I could get out of my mouth were James, James, James. Finally, he turned to my daughter and me and said, "Hello there." there are so many babies here tonight. James signed my daughter's forearm, which, by the way, I had to ask online what that was because I didn't know what it was. So I learned something that day. His signature he signed my daughter's forearm and her tank top she bought at merch table, and he signed the sleeve of my jean jacket. Mm-hmm. His signature still lives on that jean jacket right above his son Ben's signature. Then, just as quickly as it started, it was over, and he was on to greet someone else. And I said, "Wait, can I get a picture?" James turned back to me and leaned down as I clumsily grabbed my phone and took a selfie with him while still holding my daughter. The picture is ridiculous. It makes me laugh when I look at it. He looks great, and I look like a deer caught in headlights. I have always said that if I were able to have a conversation with James, the only thing I would want to say is thank you. Well, this made me cry. Thank you, James, for your songs. Thank you, James, for your music. Thank you, James, for touring. Thank you, James, for getting clean. Thank you, James, for surviving. And thank you, James. Thank you.
No, I get it. Thank you, Brandy.
Yeah.
That was, it's so true. I have goosebumps. I mean, I feel like, and that's what I say about the book, it's just this great big thank you. We're all so filled with gratitude. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say that if you do write another book, you should call it All Because of James Taylor.
There you go. Here we are, all because of James.
So many things in my life are because of him. Like I have friendships. I have met you. I mean, so much of my life has just been surrounded by his music. And I'm so thankful.
And Brandy is a brand new grandmother. She was texting me the other night. It's I forgot, was it a girl or boy? I forgot.
A girl. Her name is Reese. And a week ago today, actually, I was there outside in her backyard for, her parents' house and in the sunshine. And I played her 6 James Taylor songs.
See that? See that? And you'll be taking her, I'm sure, to a James Taylor concert as soon as she's old enough to be like on your shoulders or in your
barrier. I'll take her.
That's awesome. I play JT songs to my grandkids too, and that's great. That's the thing, generation, and that's what's so special about it. So I love that, Brandy. I love all of your thank yous too, because we all feel like that. And thank you for getting. As Brandy said, thank you for getting sober, because who knows? And he talks about that openly in a lot of these interviews. And the one that I just gave away too in that article in the Parade magazine, he talks about that. He talks about how if it weren't for that, the song actually that he says scared him sober was the song That's Why I'm Here. He wrote that song after John Belushi died, and that's what scared him sober. And he wrote that song about that. And then, of course, as a tribute to his fans, That's Why I'm Here, which is why I call this That's Why We're Here. You're here for us. We're here for you. But yeah, so I love that when you brought that into the conversation. So thanks, Brandy.
Well, it's true.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Bye-bye. Yes. A few of the songs here, stories here are actually about that, how James helped with sobriety and some of his fans going through recovery. And he dedicated that on his a song when he played just recently in concert. He dedicated to those people that are on the path of recovery. I have those videos, by the way, on my Life with James Taylor page. I took a lot of videos. I went to 3 concerts on this tour, and I took a lot of videos. So if you have some time and you just want to look at the videos, please do. They're great. Okay, I'm going to read. What time is it? 12:43. Okay, you guys want one more story or one more prize and then another story? Let's see. Well, I'm seeing a lot of people out there, so this is awesome. I'm going to let's give away one more prize. Let's give away a T-shirt. Why not? And then I'm going to read one more story about the song Copperline, which I saw a couple of people actually write about in the chat. Copperline, beautiful song, aren't they all? This shirt. Let's bring Brandy back. Not Brandy. Let's bring Shanna back in. This is James Taylor and his all-star band. This is a big one though. Let's see, what size is this? That's okay. We sleep in these shirts, right? Everybody can. Oh, it says medium, but it looks big to me. James Taylor and his all-star band. This is a nice one from 2014, and all of the places on the back when he was touring: Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, San Francisco, Santa Barbara, LA, Nebraska, Kansas City. Oh my gosh, a lot of them. So let's give this shirt away to somebody. James Taylor and his All-Star Band. Who's going to get that, Shannon?
All right. It will be Donna Shores O'Day.
Donna. Yay, Donna. Awesome. Donna, you're going to be wearing this t-shirt next time I see you. I've never met Donna, but we've talked and chatted, and we are JTBFFs. So that's awesome. Thanks, Shannon. I'm going to do one more read, and then I'm going to give another present. Let's remove you. Okay. So the last story I want to read today is, well, where did it go? Yeah. It's about from the story, from the song Copper Line, and it's from Nancy DeMitt Anderson. And I chose this story. There's so many good ones. I could just sit here and read all of them, but I chose this story today because it really shows how one song can have so many different meanings for so many different people. And so I'm going to read this one. If I have time, I'll read one more short one too. Let's see. What was the one? Oh, Brandy read hers. And, oh, this was a good one too. I might read yours, Marco, too. If I have time, I'm going to read Marco's. If Marco's on here. Marco's from Italy, and he's got some great James Taylor stories too. So let me read this one by Nancy Anderson from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm trying to think now. You know, it's possible that I read this the first day. I don't remember. But anyway, it's a beautiful story, and I'm going to read it. So it's Copper Line, Nancy DeMitt Anderson. I have loved James Taylor's voice and music since I was 16 years old. I'm currently 66. There's a James Taylor song for just about every special occasion in my life. I have 3 children, and there's a song that goes with each one of them. My oldest daughter, Jamie, named for James, song is Your Smiling Face. My youngest daughter, Paige, is my hippie traveler, and her song is Carolina in My Mind. My son Andy's song is Something in the Way She Moves. I know this is an odd choice for a son, but that's the beauty of James's songs. We find our own meanings in the lyrics, even if it's vastly different from what James had written about. Andy was having a horrible time during his college years with panic, anxiety, and agoraphobia. He came home from the university out of fear that his life was coming to an end and basically confined himself to his bed for months. He seemed to think at that time that I, his mom, was the only one that could save him. So I stayed by him, sitting next to his bed, holding his hand during the roughest times, just talking to him, reading the Bible, trying to entertain his mind for hours, days, weeks on end. I listened to James's song, Something in the Way She Moves, over and over again. For me, the song tells the story of a mom helping her son through mental anxiety, robbing him of life, happiness, and everything he had known. The song reminded me that it wasn't what I had to say or the meaning behind my words, but rather just the sound of the words repeated with love that could calm him down. Day by day, Andy got better. He helped himself to get better. I was there to be a support, provide a distraction, help him gain strength, endure the mental anxiety and agoraphobia, and help him avoid the places in his mind that were too scary to go. After Andy got strong enough to be on his own again, sometimes he would need to call me to calm him down if the anxiety came back. Any time of the day or night, I would stop and do my best. He's worth everything I have to give. Spoken like a true mom. He would tell me, I feel fine when you're around. Something in the way she moves, right? It's like he was writing the lyrics to the song. Andy is doing so well now, and I am incredibly proud of him. If you didn't know Andy from before, you would never have suspected that he was fighting such demons during his college years. I think it's funny that Andy is so much like James in how he carries himself, quiet, and how he dresses. He wears 90% of the same clothing that James wears. And of course, I love that. There isn't a song that James sings that I don't like. His voice has been part of my life for so long. Copper Line has to be my favorite song. The words that James sings are so original and pure. But truly, every song has at least one line that speaks to my heart. Don't we know it, right? His band is amazing too, all fabulous musicians in their own right. Everyone who knows me knows how much I love James. Any news of him is texted or sent via social media almost immediately. Friends always ask me when he's coming to town, or if they know he's playing nearby, they'll say, better get your tickets. Like I haven't already had them for months. I've seen James soften through the years. His love for his family and friends is admirable. He's so humble and kind and so doggone funny. I was actually able to have a short conversation with him at a concert while he signed my 1979 copy of Rolling Stone with his picture on the cover. I was so happy to tell him, thank you. Thank you for sharing your voice with us. I will always be grateful that he did not stop trying through all the rejections, the addictions, and the personal problems. He stayed true to his dream, and that allows us to dream. Thank you. Thank you, James, for sharing your voice and your life with all of us. That's beautiful. And we have a picture there of Nancy holding up that, oh my gosh, oh, you know what? I have this too. I should show it to you. The cover of the Rolling Stones magazine that she had him sign. And there he is. Those were the days, right? All that hair and that big mustache. So cute. That was beautiful, Nancy. Thank you. Again, the song Something in the Way She Moves, you know, we all have a song that speaks to us for whatever reason. And the meanings are, and the meaning of the song can just be so personal. So thank you. One more, and then I'm going to do 2 more prizes. Let's see how we do with time. Thanks, guys, for sticking through because we've got 2 more prizes. Let's see. Let's pick a quick one here. Oh my goodness. Marco, are you on? Let's see. If Marco's on, I'll read his story. We read Thomas last week. Oh, Dan's here. And Craig, let's see. All right. Sharon, is Sharon on? Sharon, if you're on, I'll read your Cincinnati, Ohio story. Are you on, Sharon? I know you were on last week. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to read this one. It's short and it's sweet. And Sharon is a huge fan. And I just love this picture. She's standing here with her shirt of James, Ben, and her in the middle. Isn't that awesome? Look at that. She's in the middle of the 2 Taylors. So I'll read this one really quick and then a couple more presents. Shower the people you love with love. Do you still suffer from depression? That was the presumptive question I asked James Taylor in 2016, one of the several times I've been fortunate enough to speak with him. We talked briefly about the drug trial I had been participating in for TRP, treatment-resistant depression. I'm not a friend, just one of the millions of fans who's been lucky enough to grab a few minutes of his time occasionally. He is such a genuinely nice person. He seemed interested and was inquisitive. So many people say that when they talk with James. He doesn't just shrug you off. You know, he's interested and inquisitive and like a friend. Although I didn't recognize it for years, I can see now that the unwavering connection I feel with James Taylor and his music is our shared experience of having to blindly navigate our way through the treacherous depths of major depression. Through the 1970s, I played his songs over and over, clinging to his lyrics as if my life depended on it. And just maybe it did. Totally relate to that. I don't mean to minimize Mr. Taylor's astounding talents and success by focusing on his bouts of depression and addiction, but I do believe it is the common denominator between us. It joins us together. Well, at least it joins me to him. The brilliance of James' lyrics that hint at, and at times scream out, the angst within hooked me from the very beginning. Here was a person who understood my pain even before I could name it myself. A man who was hugely successful despite living with a heaping load of self-destructive melancholy. Of course, I appreciated his smooth voice, his skill on the guitar, his rangy good looks, and his enthusiastic and sometimes impish onstage performances. But I believe it was his shared pain that grabbed me, and it has never let me go. James got me. He hooked me and he understood me, taking his own suffering and turning it to amazing works of art, sometimes deceptively upbeat. Sometimes I felt like he was singing to me, sometimes that he was singing about me. His songs spoke directly to me. I swear I could have written that line. In fact, I think I did, because that's so universal, right? He's writing to me. He's writing to you. Depression is a strange affliction. It's isolating and guilt-producing. It's often viewed skeptically, as if one is ruining one's life in order to get attention. It's brutal, and it can be a killer. But the pain is real, and it's not a choice. James spent time in a mental hospital. I have spent time in a hospital psych ward. It sounds scary. It was scary the first time, but I soon realized the people I met there were my peeps. I made friendships I still keep years afterwards. I feel more comfortable with them than people in the real world. I feel as if James is one of my peeps too. I have trouble feeling happiness. It's not that I don't want to be happy, but rather a chemical imbalance in my brain that makes it difficult for me to experience joy. I'm not just a grumpy, ungrateful, unhappy person either. It's not a choice. It's a truth I have not yet been able to escape. Who would choose to live a joyous life? Not me, and certainly not James. When I attend a James Taylor concert, sharing a unique experience with my main peep, James Taylor, my other peeps up on the stage, and the thousands of peeps in the audience, I feel not just happiness, but joy. And I know that things will be much better if I continue to shower the people I love with love. And that includes James Taylor. Oh, I love that. Sharon, I hope you're here. I know you were here last week and the weekend before, but beautiful story. Shower the people you love with love. Once again, about the connections that we feel for whatever reason with James. Okay, let's pick out. Shannon, help me out. Did I already give away the poster? I don't remember. Let's bring you on. When I'm talking, I forgot. Did I give this away yet?
I think that was the first. Was that the first, the first contributor, the first prize that you gave? I think, yes.
Well, the very first prize was the book. The contributor was the book.
Then you
So I haven't done this yet.
Yeah.
I did this one last week and I did this one the week before because I have multiple ones. And so I'm going to give one today. Okay, awesome. So I am going to give this poster away. This is from James Taylor's Sweet Baby James album. And again, this side is that awesome picture. This side is all of the lyrics to the songs. I just love this. I have one of these framed on my wall because it has Fire and Rain and Sunny Skies, Anywhere Like Heaven, Country Road. Oh man, all the greatest. So I'm going to have you pick, Shannon, because all of you people that have stuck around, this was a long one today, but it was, I think, the last one. So I wanted to make it a good one for you. Who's going to win this poster, Shannon?
Paula Hootman.
Paula, yay. All right. Oh, I'm so happy. We heard Paula's story. Those of you who were here, I think I read at the first party. Paula has a great story. She's almost at 100 concerts, and she gets a lot of healing from James and being at this concert. So, yay, Paula, you get that. I'm going to give this oldie but goodie, and then I'm going to give away the hat. So this one is a really old memorabilia from 1975. From this is from it's a circular piece of literature. I guess, I don't know how to call it. It's not really a newspaper or a magazine, but it was a circular from Monday, May 26, 1975. This is about when I first heard of James, I think, maybe a little bit earlier than that. And look at that picture again. Whoops, recognize him? Look at that, all that hair and the dark mustache. He looks like his son there, doesn't he? And it's a really interesting article about him. And I think, oh yeah, and look at these pictures it was right after the Gorilla album was released. And he talks about the songs on the album, and he talks about reflection and unheard music. And the first line was, this is so funny. The first line says, "I think I'll buy a Holiday Inn franchise when I retire." James Taylor was on the road again, and although the tour was doing well, the hotels hadn't changed much. "I'm getting more attuned to touring, though," he said, almost reluctantly. This is really funny. I could read the whole thing, but I'm not going to. But whoever wins this is going to love it, because this is vintage JT, and when he was touring and on the road, and he writes so many stories about being on the road. So this is from 1975 when he was first doing the road thing. Shannon, who's going to win this?
All right. This is Kim McNally Eads.
Yay, Kim McNally Eats. You're still, oh, you are still here. I see you. Yay, Kim. This is a cool old vintage JT magazine, I guess you can call it, circular. And as I said, the article in there about him and his, it says, James Taylor delivers unto the planet his ape. That's cool. Congratulations, Kim. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up now. I think I've given away most of what I had planned for today. How many people are left here? You guys are still hanging in. Oh, this is great. So happy you're here. I'm going to, as I said, the book is, you can go on my website, lifewithjamestaylor.com, to get if you want a signed copy of the book. I'm going to sign it, not James. One day we'll get James to sign it. But if you want a signed copy of the book to give to somebody, to dedicate to somebody, then there's a little thing on the website that says, who would you like me to sign it for? And you can do that for a gift for somebody, for a James Taylor fan that you know. You can say, please write a note to, my mom, my sister, my blah, blah, blah. And I'm happy to do that for you. So if that's what, instead of just getting it on Amazon or whatever, if you want a signed copy for me to dedicate it to a JT fan in your life, then go to my website, lifewithjamestaylor.com, and let me know. And I'm happy to do that for you. And again, if you have a story, write to me, Rebecca at lifewithjamestaylor.com. So I'm going to give away now, because so many people joined today. I'm feeling super generous. And this one, I just picked it out of the box, and look what it is. Look at that. Oh, look how cute when I do that. His picture's in the back of the whole of the 45. That's why I'm here. A 45 of That's Why I'm Here. I feel like this needs to go to a contributor. So I'm going to pick this one out, Shannon, and then I'm going to let you pick out the last one for the hat. That's why I'm here. This one's going to go to a contributor. So I'm going to take my hat with the contributor names. So those of you who are here and contributors, as I said, are going to get a double chance to win. And this is just, let's see. Oops. Oh my gosh, things are falling out. This is the one. This is the one. Sonia Chilton. Sonia, are you here? Let's see. Shannon, do you see if Sonia's here?
I have not seen her name come up.
I haven't seen your name either, Sonia. I'm not sure if you're here. Okay, I'm going to pick one more, unless Sonia's here. Don't worry, if you are here, I'm going to pick one more, because I actually have 2 of those 45s. But I'm going to pick one more, because I would love to give it to somebody that is here. You guys stuck with me. Oh, so you know what, Shannon? For sure, then you pick the name, because you've got the ones that are here. So you pick the one. So that's why I'm here. Whoops.
All right. It will go to Wendy Rosso.
Yay, that's why I'm here. Wendy's the one who won the hat last week. You've got a lucky streak in there, Wendy. Okay. So if Sonia's here, I'm going to give it to Sonia. If Sonia's not here, we'll give it to Wendy. Okay. And for the main prize of Carole King, James Taylor's hat from the Troubadour Tour, Shannon, you've got everybody's name in there, right? Even the people that signed in late. Okay, great.
Yes, I got them all.
It's used, as you can see, it's worn, but it's worn with love. And Carole King, James Taylor, Troubadour Tour. Who's getting this one?
This is going to Angela Elliott Johnson.
Oh, yay, Angela. I'm sure she's here. Angela, we read her story either the first or second time. I remember, beautiful story about her dad. And so I'm excited that you will have that hat, Angela. That's great. Awesome. Thank you guys so much once again for joining me. And thank you, Shannon, for being with me and helping me out here. I could not have done it without you. And thank you so much. Special shout out to Brandy Ringel and to Kim Lifton, my 2 really special JT BFFs, and everybody else who signed on. So many people signed on today that I'm so happy are joining me. And I hope we can continue to do this. I'm not going to do it over the next couple of weeks, at least for the next month, because I'm going to visit my grandbabies. And But I'm here. You can email me. You'll see me at lifewithjamestaylor.com. It's always fun to see you. Thank you guys so much. Love you all. Love JT. Bye.